Mike Craven, I need you to spend 2 minutes talking me into why I should be interested in the Texas A&M Aggies.
This is a good one. So I think with Texas A&M, as they proved last year, they can lose to anybody in the SEC. They can beat anybody in the SEC, right? I mean, they can win. They can beat Alabama. They can lose to Mississippi State, And so I think that's true for most SEC teams, but especially Texas A&M, because who's their quarterback?
Yeah.
Like, I think we've all kind of moved to, like, Max Johnson being the favorite at quarterback. Max Johnson got ran out of LSU. Like, he's not, like, a barn burner or anything, right? So who is Haynes King? What is he going to do? Is Connor Wigman get in there eventually? I think their quarterback, situation makes them interesting. The conference that they play in makes them interesting. On the offensive side of the ball, I think that makes them the most interesting is Devon Achane.
Yeah.
I mean, he averaged 7 yards a carry last year in the SEC.
Make the plane out of him.
Right, yeah. More than anybody else in the conference. Like, the dude's fast. I mean, he's still running track. He's like the third or fourth fastest kid in the country at the 60-meter indoors, right? So, I mean, the dude can fly. He's going to be more of a bell cow this year with Isaiah Spiller gone. So him and Aeneas Smith are going to get a lot of carries. A lot of touches, I think, in and out of the backfield. And then what does Evan Stewart become? Like, can he have an Xavier Worthy type true freshman year? Because they're already talking about him like he's their number one target, which is crazy, right? To, like, be, like, 3 months removed from prom?
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, you're already the best receiver at A&M, which probably says something about A&M struggles recruiting at wide receiver. But defensive side of the ball, like, that recruiting class they brought in is stellar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's the best recruiting class of, like, all time, the way it's billed by some people and by 24/7 and stuff like that in terms of this, the way that they do their metrics. But they have, like, 6 or 7 top 100 defensive linemen coming in. How quickly can they handle SEC football? Like, that's a huge question for me. So that secondary is the best in the country. Like, it is. Antonio Johnson is elite. Like, he's an All-American at nickel. Jalen Jones at corner, Tyreek Chappelle at corner, really good. Damani Richardson at safety is really good. So they got dudes. They're probably, on paper, the most talented team in the state. For me, you see these preseason polls come out, and it's like A&M 6th, A&M 7th, A&M's 8th. I think we had them at 11th or 12th just because I don't know who their quarterback is.
Yeah.
And until they have consistent play at quarterback, how can you expect them to be consistent in the SEC? I fully admit they have the talent to beat anybody on their roster, on their schedule. I also think they're not going to be consistent enough week in and week out to beat everybody on their roster. 2023 is kind of that year that they have a chance. This one's a gear-up year. How good can they get by the end of the year to set the table for a real run the following season?
Yeah, it's really interesting because, like, they are, they went 8-4 last year with a win over Alabama. You know what I mean? They went 8-4 with a win over Alabama last year. It feels like we should be talking a little bit more about how, like, that was pretty disappointing. Like, 8-4 last year with that schedule and that roster. Admittedly, they had quarterback issues and stuff like that. It feels like if they were to go 8-4 this year, the conversation is going to be very different. And I feel like if they were to go 8-4, especially like 9-3 this year, you'd be like, boy, the wave is coming in 2023. Like, y'all better gear up, because I do think that they are, from a roster perspective, they are the most talented at a lot of the really important parts, the parts that I value, which are offensive line, defensive line. They are going to be potentially elite, like best in the country type for the next couple of years. And so that's what makes them so interesting, is how quickly those puppies grow up, and can they find a quarterback and consistent quarterback play to make it stand up, basically.
Because they could recruit really well, in part because they're the only Texas team in the SEC.
Yeah.
Well, that's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Right? And that's going to create more dogfights in recruiting. Like, we're probably not going to sign the best overall class in the history of 24/7 every year.
Yeah.
Especially with Texas coming into the SEC. This is kind of their shot. Like, they have built this roster, right? Like, where can they get to by the end of this year that makes us all feel good that Texas A&M is one of the top 5 teams in the country heading into 2023? To me, that's the fascinating part. Kind of like Mac Brown's teams at Texas before they got over the hump. It was like, okay, they're loading up. They're loading up. They're loading up. Yeah. How close are they?
Yeah, I've had conversation with Aggie friends, and I think that a lot of them are in agreement that 2022 is not the year. 2021 may have been a shot. 2022 is not the year. 2023, like, they just want to see the build.
They need to be locked and loaded.
Exactly right.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.